Alldus podcast is brought to you by Alldus International, supplying your expert AI and digital transformation staffing needs across the US and Europe. Today, you are listening to our AI in Action series, where leading minds in AI from across the world share their story, success, and advice. AI in Action cuts through the hype and explores the true impact of artificial intelligence in our world today.
You're listening to AI in Action. I'm your host, JP Valentine. Our guest today is Patrick Elder. Patrick is the Director of Data and AI Center of Excellence at ECS. Patrick, welcome to the show.
JP, thank you so much for the opportunity to be here with you. I'm really excited to join.
And we appreciate you agreeing to do it. So let's jump straight in, Patrick. Let's start with yourself, please, as we do with all of our guests. Could you give us a bit of an overview of your background in technology, from what got you interested in it early on, your evolution in the field, taking us to where you are today as I said, the Director of Data and AI Center of Excellence for ECS?
Yeah, sure. It sounds like you want to go way back. I think my first exposure to technology and what we would consider the field is really a high school course on BASIC back in the 90s. And I really enjoyed it. I just really found myself attached to being able to do cool things with the computer, and even with really simple language, just the possibilities that was open to me. And I think right away I knew that was what I wanted to do, and went on to major in computer science, graduated from college, and I was lucky enough to get a job right away, right here in the DC area, working for another large federal system integrator. And the first day that I showed up, they called me in, and this was in a classified space, so I wasn't even allowed to walk around or anything by myself. The first day, they asked me if I knew how to use a tool called Business Objects, and I had never heard of it before. And I said, no, I don't, but I can learn anything. And they said, great, that's the attitude that we want. We're going to basically lock you in a closet with this thing for 3 months, and we're going to see what you come up with. And interestingly enough, my time in college, I really didn't like databases, didn't care about them. I thought that they were boring, and the real action was in the front-end development and the application software. But little did I know where I'd be 20 years later. But that exposure gave me the opportunity to work with databases, data management, governance, BI, and all sorts of things throughout the data stack, and really got to understand the power of data and what it means to our customers, and the kinds of things that it drives organizationally, the kinds of decisions that are based on that, and how important it is. And I just fell in love with that, could just see the power there. And I always envisioned this moment that we're in right now, where everybody sees data as the next gold rush for all intents and purposes. And our ability to use it efficiently, and power decisions and automate those decisions is really what we're all focused on right now. After that first role, coming out of college, did a bunch of different things across the federal government, in the intelligence community, Department of Defense, and the public sector. Ended up working for a company that was acquired by ECS in 2020. And not long after that, I had the opportunity to move into a director role to help pull together the different projects and technologists that work with data and AI at ECS. And as that grew and matured, I got an opportunity to then step in and lead our Center of Excellence, which is where I am today.
Amazing. Patrick, thank you for the overview. Super interesting. And I'm sure we could spend a lot more time talking about each step.
For sure.
But look, you brought us to where you are today. So I'm excited to learn about the AI Center of Excellence and your role as the Director of Data and AI there. But let's start just setting the stage for our audience. Tell us about ECS, who you are, what you do, mission of the business.
ECS Federal, been around for 30 years now. We have grown tremendously in the last couple of years, brought in a lot of new capabilities through mergers and acquisitions, and we serve the full gamut in the federal government. As I mentioned, like my experience, I see defense and the civilian side. And what we really have are some main capabilities, although if the opportunity presents itself, we're always listening. But data and AI, cybersecurity, app services, cloud, and management and modernization are really our strong points. And so each of those represent a center of excellence in ECS. And the role of the Center of Excellence is to consolidate all of the knowledge and help the technologists and people throughout the company connect and share ideas so that we're always able to bring the best of ECS to our customers for every single engagement.
So it's quite a broad role given the amount of investment in data and AI that's happening within ECS. So I want to jump straight into your role in a bit more detail. Obviously, since receiving the director and senior leadership position, you've taken on a broad range of responsibilities. Can you help us visualize what you and your team are tasked with, what it looks like day to day, and maybe give us some insight into how your team's work is impacting your customer and their journey?
So our centers of excellence, because we bring together the best and brightest of ECS, our time is very valued across our programs. And so we get tapped to do a lot of different things depending on what the need is. For example, our team will be called upon to help give strategic vision to both programs that we're currently working on and those that we hope to be working on. Additionally, we try to build community amongst the technologists in ECS. Anybody who's worked in the federal space as a system integrator, or maybe a system integrator in general, will probably understand that when you're doing work for a customer on the day-to-day, you can become very ingrained in that environment. And it's easy to forget that there are resources that can help you when you come across a challenge that's difficult to solve or something you haven't seen before. And we like to try to remind the folks that are doing the hard work day to day that we're here to back them up. Anytime that they come across something they haven't seen, or they need somebody to come in and speak with some experience for something new that their customer is interested in. And that just helps us continue to grow our business, but also work on the really cool things that are on the leading edge. Additionally, we put together thought leadership pieces on our website. We do a lot of stuff to help recruitment. We work with our interns to give them interesting opportunities. And sometimes we get to work on internal projects and proofs of concept. So take some of this new technology that our customers are interested in, but maybe not using yet, and help show them how we can apply them to solve mission needs.
It's very cool. And given the role ECS plays within the broader federal and public sector space, the variety of projects and work, I would imagine, is quite varied, some of which will be restrictive in terms of what you can tell us when it comes to security clearances. But since formation of the Center of Excellence, are there any standout projects that you are particularly proud of or are excited about that you can actually share with us? But something that would really showcase just how impactful you and the elite team have been since its formation.
Yeah, I think we've been one of the leading system integrators for the DoD for several years, and one of the things that we've worked on that I think is really impactful that sometimes gets lost in the hype of AI is our AI factory. And what that does is it allows us to use a unique contracting structure to farm out model development to some of the companies in Silicon Valley and others that normally wouldn't be able to play in this space. But by creating an environment that is completely sectioned off from any federal infrastructure and filling it with data that's been completely redacted and safe to use, we give the federal government more access to some of the greatest minds in AI. And that has been hugely successful. And so that factory enables us to then take those models once they're trained, vet them, pass them through security scans, do additional testing, give them feedback before they ever roll into production. But when they are ready, they roll into production and they follow an ML ops lifecycle, going right through adoption into sunset. Once the model itself has fulfilled its duty, or we have something new or better to bring online for that. And it's just been hugely successful. And these are really exciting types of models, computer vision, things that we're doing with acoustics, the kind of stuff that you see in the movies. And it's really exciting when you see the past performance and get the opportunity to talk to these guys that work on it. It's really cool stuff.
Yeah, cool indeed. I wish we could all sign an NDA right now so you could give some more detail, but maybe this is just a little bit of a carrot for people who are interested in this space. Staying on the topic of people then, look, you've been in the public sector federal intelligence space for quite some time now. What stands out as being particularly exciting in recent years is the broader adoption of AI, and that doesn't happen without the people. So Looking at the team that you're working with now, how would you describe the environment day to day, the project life cycles, and even just the culture of work? What is it like to be part of the data science and AI org at ECS, particularly your center of excellence?
I think as it relates to our center of excellence, the people that I work with day to day are so passionate about the technology and the opportunity to apply it to novel concepts that it's a really fast-paced environment, more energy than we can possibly contain, and we're often restricted by resources related to what we're going to be able to pull out of the cloud to try some of this stuff out. But as we take these ideas out to our customers and we take the next step, I think one of the things that we really emphasize is that customer experience, understanding what is the problem that we want to try to solve. How do we make that as smooth and as understandable to the people that are going to consume it as possible? And as you're probably well aware, AI has a lot of pitfalls. This isn't the kind of thing that we can just trust blindly. We need to know how it's working. We need to understand how it came to its results. We need to understand what parts we need a human in the loop, where we need to explain those results and provide those back to audit and things of that nature.
You are listening to the Alldus podcast. When you're looking to scale your team, or if you are interested in showcasing your company in a future episode, reach out today. Or if you're in the market for a new role, visit our website to view open positions, www.alldus.com.
When we start to look at the possibilities for AI in the broader public sector, whether it be federal, defense, security, or just the critical social services that exist, there's so much that feels like it's almost there. When you look at the next 1 to 2 years for your team and ECS as a business, what are you excited about? What are you and the team hoping to move forward and accomplish? And with that, what growth of investment and headcount do you anticipate continuing to go into an already successful group that you've got?
There's going to be an explosion of the use in AI across the federal government. I think, one of our customers was recently quoted as saying, if you don't have AI and customer experience in your proposal, don't submit it. And like I mentioned earlier, that's a focal point for us. And I think everybody is looking for the value add in the promise of AI. This is a classic hype cycle. We're trying our best to make sure that we're going to avoid the chasm of disenchantment here. And I think when we look at the opportunities, one of the things that I'm most excited about in the short term is how we can apply pre-trained models to solve common problems, things that we can do over and over again to help our customers. One of the things that I think has been really challenging about AI to this point is that it's been a very customized, bespoke process to come up with a model that works for a specific use case. It takes tremendous amount of data, tremendous amount of compute to train the model in order to get something that's really impactful, something that actually does save time and is efficient enough to be trusted in a way that we're adding efficiency and helping our human resources get to a higher level of thought. I think that's on the precipice of what we're working on now. And I think when you see the way that generative AI has enabled us to imagine different ways to save ourselves from toil is something that's really exciting. And I think we haven't even discovered the next level of thought that we're going to be able to do with that additional time.
Patrick, final question from me then. Taking this all back to the people side of things, obviously from conversations that I've had with ECS over the months and years, not getting to know you guys across different departments, it's clear that you guys are having a tremendous impact for your customers, but there's also an amazing environment and culture of recognized as being one of the best places to work in this space. As a leader in the business, particularly a leader who's working on the bleeding edge of technology, you play a pivotal role, not just in shaping the direction, but also building and establishing a good workforce. Speaking to an audience of potential future employees, future work colleagues, if you were speaking to someone who you felt could add value to the team and would be a good fit, what is it that you tell them about ECS, its environment, its people, that gets them excited enough to join you guys over some of the other great companies also trying to hire?
Yeah, I feel like the list could go on and on here. We could talk about this for days too. But one of the biggest things that I value in my time at ECS is the opportunities to grow. I think that's something that many of us are looking for in the technology space, and it's often hard to find the path to take. And you may also run into cases where that growth opportunity just isn't there. You're restricted by the contract that you're working on, the structure of the company, the access to leadership. And I really feel like at ECS, everybody has an open door policy. There's no leader here that you can't talk to at any point. Pick up the phone, do a Teams chat, ask questions, ask for mentorship. I've come across some of the most amazing mentors possible within ECS, and I've been able to give that back to others that have reached out to me. This is a culture where everybody wants everyone else to be successful. Everybody wants to help each other grow, because we know that in order to take the next step in our career, we need to be preparing somebody to take our spot. And we know the value in creating the next generation of leaders. They're going to help us all be better. It's a rising tide, and that whole higher level thought that we hope for with generative AI, that's something that we hope for ourselves as we try to mature our talent. One of the other things that I really like about our community is we really try to build culture of understanding the people that we work with. And that sounds silly, but as we are more and more geographically diverse, those water cooler conversations, the in-person happy hours, those types of things are harder and harder to put together and be inclusive. And we try to come up with creative ways to make people feel like they're part of that same kind of community, where it's not just, hey, I'm on the phone with you for 30 minutes and I'll see you later. I see your icon in Teams. I don't even see your face kind of thing. We have a lot of hybrid work events that we put together. We do have in-person stuff for those that are geographically centralized. We're not afraid to do a road trip to somewhere to see if we can get some unfamiliar faces connected. And if I can shamelessly plug myself here, this is one of the reasons that we put together the Story Points podcast, which I host for ECS. And that's the opportunity for our employees to just tell stories about themselves. How did they get here? What lessons have they learned that they might want to pass on to others at ECS? And you really come across some interesting stories about how people got into this line of work. Not everybody is as linear as mine, where they knew that they wanted to do that right out of high school and got a job right away. There's a lot of really interesting paths to doing this stuff.
Yeah, our mutual friend, Mr. Martin Burke, stands out as an episode I'd encourage people to listen to. Mm-hmm. But yeah, and I'm glad you got that plug in, Patrick, because the more we can do to give people a look behind the scenes of the environment and the people, the better we'll all benefit from. And I know at ECS, as I said, it's renowned for being a great place to work. So with that said, Patrick, thanks so much for coming on and talking to us. I know we've been looking forward to this one for a while. Delighted to finally get you on the show, to have you tell your story, and most importantly, give some insight into the incredible work going on within data science and AI at ECS. So we wish you, the team, and everyone at ECS the very best of luck in months and years to come. And we look forward to having you back on the show again in the near future. Maybe we can get you on in a year from now and hear about the success that you guys have had.
JP, that would be great. Thank you so much for the opportunity. It's been a pleasure. Can't wait to talk again.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Alldus podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review. We are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and any Android podcast of choice. You can also head over to our website, www.alldus.com, to listen to more podcasts, view our open roles, and stay up to date with industry news. Thanks for listening, and stay tuned for more great episodes coming very soon.